Shagru, I would like to welcome you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today's press conference is regarding a law enforcement operation that took place this past Friday. The operation led to the disruption and arrest of individuals involved in a large-scale suspected drug trafficking organization. Made available to you today in the back is a packet including the names and titles of law enforcement in attendance today, information regarding the search warrants executed, and the names, addresses, and charges regarding the defendants arrested in Friday's work. Today, joining us, we have Berkshire District Attorney Timothy J. Shagru, Berkshire County Sheriff Thomas Bowler, of the Berkshire State Police Detective Unit, Detective Lieutenant Ryan Dickinson, of the Berkshire State Police Detective Unit, Lieutenant Maurer, of the Massachusetts State Police, Major Jeffrey Boutwell, of the Massachusetts State Police, Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Tucker, Division Commander of the Division of Investigative Services, of the Massachusetts State Police, Detective Captain Farley, of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, Resident Agent Brian Ross, Pittsfield Police Chief Thomas Dolly, Great Barrington Police Chief Paul Storty, Adams Police Chief Scott Kelly, North Adams Police Chief Mark Bailey, and Jason Kyler of the House of Corrections. I will be sending a press release after this press conference that will include quotes from other law enforcement agencies involved in today's or in Friday's operation. Not all of those individuals will speak at today's press conference. Thank you.
First off, I just want to say thank you all for coming. It's a great day for Berkshire County. It's a great day for Massachusetts. It's a great day for the law enforcement community. And I want to first thank our men and women in blue who worked so diligently and so hard these last 3 months, who put their lives on the line, as you're going to see in a few moments, to tackle and attack this group of individuals that were coming into our community and trying to establish a very detailed, complicated drug trafficking organization. Due to their hard work and their dedication and spending hours and countless amount of time working on this case for months, we're able to come to a conclusion on Friday, which led to the arrest of, so far, 9 individuals with a warrant for a 10th individual. One of which has been arraigned this morning. Henry Vidal has been held on $200,000 cash bail, along with having his bail revoked, an underlying charge for 90 days. So in the meantime, the other defendants are being arraigned up at the North Adams District Court, and we'll have updates for the process of what's happening with them later. So I'd like to first thank all the law enforcement community that worked so hard and so diligent together on this particular investigation. Like I said, it's been going on for some time. So everybody should know, in the Berkshires, we work as a team. And Friday's operation is just exactly what that means. I ran for office on a platform of accountability and commitment to building a safer community. And Friday, it represented a key milestone in fulfilling that promise. Thanks to months of diligent investigative work and the brave actions of local and state law enforcement, the Berkshires became a safer place. The Berkshire District Attorney's Office launched this investigation into a suspected organized drug trafficking network several months ago. From the start, my team, which was comprised of Assistant District Attorneys, the Berkshire State Police Detective Unit, the Berkshire County Law Enforcement Task Force, and the Massachusetts State Police, who worked tirelessly to gather a massive amount of evidence on the operation of this drug network. As I said earlier, 23 search warrants were executed simultaneously or in close proximity on Friday, February 8th. These included searches of residents in North Adams, Pittsfield, and even as far-reaching as Lowell, Massachusetts. 3 vehicles, 6 individuals, and a long-term storage facility were also searched in Pittsfield on Friday. Early Friday morning, teams began staging across central and northern Berkshires in preparation for the execution of these warrants. It was critical to act swiftly and effectively to apprehend those suspected of being involved in the drug trafficking operation, and to not tip anyone off. Law enforcement did exactly that, with precision and coordination and professionalism. No one was hurt, everyone was placed under arrest peacefully. Additionally, we were supported by the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and thank you so much, who provided us with the necessary equipment for us to execute Friday's very complicated and detailed operation. I am incredibly proud of their professionalism and the dedication to make this operation a success. I am so incredibly proud of all the men and women and that have worked on this case for months at a time. Right now, if I could have Jim Hall, if you could dim the lights and put this photo up. These are the evidence that we successfully secured this past Friday. 20 firearms, and I want you to take a look at those, including numerous large capacity rifles and pistols, an SK-47, sniper rifle with the tripod. You'll see the various firearms, high capacity firearms. You'll see the amount of drugs, $60,000 in cash, 700 grams of cocaine, 320 grams of heroin, 300 grams of fentanyl pills. In total, over $200,000 in street value of drugs were seized. While our office coordinated this investigation and oversaw it, it would not have been possible without the law enforcement teams involved. The following teams made Friday possible. The Berkshire State Police Detective Unit. Thank you, Ryan and Ryan. The Massachusetts State Stop Team. Massachusetts State Police. The Berkshire County Law Enforcement Task Force. The Berkshire County Sheriff's Office. And the equipment provided by ATF. Today, I can say we are a safer place. Finally, I would like to thank my assistant district attorneys who dedicated countless hours to this investigation. Their commitment to our pledge to building a safer Berkshire is demonstrated day in and day out. But rest assured, we are not done. Our commitment to continue to do this work is well defined. We will keep working to make sure the Berkshires are a safe community, and if someone wants to come in here and try to establish a drug organization, we will find you, we will locate you, we will arrest you. And we will make sure that we get these drugs off the street before they're in the hands of people leading to addiction issues. So we were able to get $200,000 worth of drugs off the street, successfully get a lot of weapons off the street in one operation. That today, I'm very proud of all the partners in the law enforcement, and I'm very proud of everybody who worked on this case. Thank you all.
Next, I'd like to introduce Berkshire County Sheriff Thomas Bowler.
Thank you. Just very briefly, I just want to reiterate what the district attorney had mentioned. This was a very complicated case. Our goal as public officials is to create a stronger, healthier, and safer community. And I think that's just what we've accomplished over this past several months with this operation. I want to thank all the law enforcement and public safety officials, especially here locally and those abroad, the state police and the ATF. This is a very complicated case. It took us across different parts of the state, and I'm very, very proud of the men and women who were involved in this investigation. Furthermore, one thing that goes a little unnoticed is a lot of these individuals over the last several months have worked tirelessly day in and day out. Some 12 hours, 6-7 day shifts, and that takes a toll on their families. And I just want to say thank you to the families for your support in allowing these individuals to create a stronger, healthier, and safer community. So again, thank you very much, and that's it. Thank
you. As I said earlier, I will release a press release including quotes from law enforcement agencies here. If you have any questions for me prior to leaving, please feel free to ask. Are there any questions for the law enforcement here today? Amanda.
Yeah, I guess I'm just curious what made this investigation so complicated, and if this was a group trying, kind of establishing a foothold here in the Berkshires, where did they come from, and are they associated with any, groups outside of the county?
They're definitely associated with groups outside of the county because we, as I indicated, we did go into Lowell, into that area. We knew that the drugs were being brought into our community. What made it difficult is that these individuals were pretty coy and pretty smart about what they were doing. They had video equipment, they had cameras established inside and outside their facilities. They were very detailed. They changed their phones frequently. There was a lot of activity that required us to continue to have to look at what was being changed, what was happening. It was a fluid situation all the time. So we had to build up, and we were learning more and more as we got more information. So it expanded the investigation, and then we saw the amount of drugs that were coming in. It just showed the volume that we had, so we had to plan it out right and make sure that we were building probable cause, making sure that we had the proper evidence to put these individuals under arrest. So I am very confident in the amount of work that was done into this, that this was done so professionally and done with so much, like I said, a mountain of evidence. So I think that's what made it so complicated. There was a lot of evidence that was collected. In order to get all this material, you have to take a lot of information in order to get it. And we had a lot of locations. 14 houses, and plus the U-Haul located in Pittsfield. Plus we had 3 vehicles that were being moved back and forth between Lowell and here and other areas. And we also we have some parts that are still investigating, so I don't want to say too much about it. But this was very detailed, and they were good at what they were doing, and they were trying to establish it here, but we were able to nip it in the bud. Luckily, we live in a community where people do give us information and cooperate with us, and we were able to build that because of the help from the public as well. So because of that, we're a small community. That's why I said to you that if we find out that someone's doing drugs, we research it, we look into it, and we try to build probable cause. And probable cause takes time to get it. And again, I commend them all for doing such a thorough and detailed job, which led us to finally executing these warrants on Friday. So 23 warrants in all. It was a lot of work.
And so is it known from where the drugs were coming? Was it like a Lowell to the Berkshire situation, or what's the connection with Lowell?
Well, I don't think it's just coming in from Lowell. There was one individual in Lowell that we hit the house in Lowell. As you'll see in some of the packages you have and the police reports that you'll eventually be able to see. So there was one individual coming from Lowell. I think the drugs are coming from multiple locations. I have some more information on it, but I don't want to talk about it because we know deeply where it was coming from, and we were able to track where it was coming from. But that's another investigation altogether itself.
Okay, yeah, because I'm particularly curious about like the fentanyl pills and where those might have been coming from. Is that an aspect of the ongoing investigation?
Well, it's always ongoing. We're always looking to see where the stuff is coming from because, as you might recall, last year when we did a similar type of a roundup of individuals, we actually took down a house in Springfield on Island Pond Road. This time we're out in Lowell. So we're looking to see where the stuff is coming from. And before it gets to the Berkshires, if we can identify them and get that before it gets here, we're trying to do that. So obviously we're very interested where it's coming from because we then try to root out at the roots. So we try to do that, and so we're doing the best we can to try to locate that. But we also have to, before we can do that, we got to make sure that we have evidence and probable cause to prove that that's where it's coming from.
And so is it thought that the defendants moved into the county recently, or they have been long-term residents here?
Some have been here, some have just moved in. So it's a combination, and which is very common in the drug networking industry. Usually somebody has a foothold in here and more people come in, and that's pretty much what happened here.
And which of the defendants listed, if any, are thought to be kind of the leader of the organization?
I think that the reason why I brought Mr. Vidal's name up right away is because I think he is a prime leader. That's why he's held on $200,000 bail and his bail is revoked. Mm-hmm. I think the Colognes, Victor and Richard Cologne are high level. Obviously, Khalil Lamthier had 16 firearms. Mm-hmm. So there was pretty high level individuals that were involved. And then there were a lot of smaller individuals who were trap houses, which they had video cameras inside watching who was doing what sales in there and making sure they weren't being ripped off and making sure that the people were doing what they're supposed to do. So like I said, it was a very complicated investigation, a very complicated operation that they were doing, but we were able to infiltrate it and get this arrest done.
I think we have another question.
Sure.
What was the first domino that started the whole process going forward? Was it just one location and expanded from there? Where did it begin?
Well, I think it began, a lot of these sort of overlap in time, so we had been doing other investigations, and so we get bits and pieces of information. When this particular information came out, we were identified a couple of individuals we thought might be involved, and those are the upper ones, and as a result of that, we began investigating into them, and once you start investigating them, it starts expanding out, and you're seeing the other individuals involved.
Well,
So,
what would you say was the first initial investigation? Was it like a year ago, 2 years ago?
I say on this particular case, these individuals about 3 months ago, I'd say end of September, first part of October, when it became on our radar, and then we started to build the case from there.
And what
But,
was
go ahead.
Sorry. And what was the significance of the U-Haul? Was that like a...
I believe the U-Haul location was used to package the drugs and to prepare it for sale. And then it was brought up to the various locations. Based upon the information I have during the investigation, that place would be gone to from one location to another, and I think drugs were delivered to the other locations after that. So I think that that's really was a place to package and cook, in essence, cook the crack cocaine and get it ready for sale.
What kind of street value are we looking at?
Street value, I think I said earlier, I haven't counted it all together, but I look at the 3 different amounts, it's well over 200,000 in street value.
Yes.
Sorry if you said this already, but are all of the individuals from Berkshire County?
No, we have one individual that's, there's a warrant for his arrest right now, that's from Lowell area.
Okay.
But everybody else had established themselves recently or longer in Berkshire County.
Thank you.
Will the mugshots be released at any time today?
Are we releasing those?
So I don't traditionally release mugshots just because of the quality of photo that I receive. I will include this picture on my press release. Thank you. Yes.
Is there, I know this spans larger than just Pittsfield, is there any reason to believe there was a case at the end of last year, beginning of this year, the dean of the Pittsfield High School was arrested in Monte Williams regarding a cocaine ring he was running? Is there any reason to believe there's a connection at all between any of these?
No information I have that relates that case to this case, none at all.
Yes.
How did the distribution process work? They walked up to the homes and met deals outside?
Sometimes there were deals made in the cars, sometimes there were deals that were made in those locations. A lot of times the deals would happen in each of these particular trap houses. So people go in, sale would take place, but you could, they come in, they leave within a matter of minutes. So you can see the amount of people coming and going from there. So most of those were either coming into the trap house, sometimes in the vehicles, but usually in these locations, there were people coming and going from them.
And were neighbors helping, saying, hey, I'm seeing all this traffic? Talk about neighbors.
I'm not sure of that. I know that our law enforcement members collect all the information they get from neighborhood stuff. A lot of it it's anonymous. So I won't know that, but I do know that they spend a lot of time trying to corral information from local neighborhoods. And again, luckily, a lot of people do talk, and we do get a lot of information from people on the street.
Did you send people undercover to buy?
I don't believe there are any buys in this particular case.
Amanda?
Just curious, given the volume of firearms, whether there's a firearms trafficking component to this investigation as well?
Again, this all happened on Friday, so we'll look into those, that possibility. We haven't traced back the firearms yet. That'll take place next, and the next investigation is, a couple of them have to face serial numbers, so that's an issue. But we will try to follow through with the firearms as the investigation goes. There will be more coming from the rest of this as we get this case ready for grand jury. They're just all being arraigned today. So as you can imagine, the amount of work that happened on Friday, the amount of work that's happened for 3 months, and what we've tried to put together for today over the weekend has been pretty incredible. But again, there's aspects that we will look at. We look at 2 aspects, not only trafficking of the weapons, but also trafficking of individuals using them to sell drugs for them. So it's an angle that I've been talking about and looking at. So it's something we're always looking at. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you all so much for coming. I appreciate your time, I appreciate your effort, and thank you all.